Hi, everybody. I'm Darren Abbott. I'm the president of the Manchester Monarchs. Thanks, Jack. On behalf of the AEG and the Los Angeles Kings, I'm proud to announce today that the Manchester Monarchs hockey is here to stay for another 6 seasons in the fine city of Manchester, and Max the mascot is here to stay as well. I'm happy to announce that our team will enter the ECHL beginning next season and play a 36-game home regular season here in the jungle, the Verizon Wireless Arena. I'm also very pleased to announce a new 5-year extension with the Verizon Wireless Arena that, when added to the final year of our original 15-year agreement, will keep professional hockey in the Granite State until 2021. When the deal is complete, AEG and the Los Angeles Kings will have invested over 20 years in the city of Manchester. The path that we blazed to get here today was not an easy one. However, preserving pro hockey in Manchester as an amenity to the city was always the goal. Countless hours were put in to accomplish this new agreement, and I'd like to thank SMG, specifically Wes Wesley, John Burns, Harry Cann, and of course, our own lovable Tim Bechert. Mayor Ted Gatsas has always supported the Monarchs and has given his support of this new chapter in Monarchs history, and we thank him for that. I would like to thank AHL President Dave Andrews and his staff, as well as ECHL Commissioner Brian McKenna, who's with us here today, for his focus on this project. Without these two leaders, we wouldn't be here today. Monarchs hockey has always been about community, and because of the hard work that was put into this extension and transfer, thousands of youth hockey players, school youth groups, scouts, dance teams, families, fans, and businesses will have a place to come together and a team to root for on the ice here in Manchester. With me here today is a number of dignitaries: Luke Robitaille, the president of the LA Kings; Brian McKenna, the commissioner of the ECHL; Tim Bechert, of course, the general manager of the Verizon Wireless Arena; the Honorable Mayor Ted Gatsas; and Matt Welch, who will assume full operational control of the team at the conclusion of the current season. Matt, born and raised in Manchester, we look forward to the success that he'll bring to the team. So without further ado, I would like to welcome up the president of the Kings, Luke Robitaille.
Thanks for the welcome, Max. Thank you, Darren. It's obviously it's a great day for the Kings organization. We've always felt this was our second home, and we're certainly very happy that we're able to stay here and play under the Kings brand. It was important to us the whole time that we were negotiating. I just want everybody to understand, from the AHL's point of view, it was a hockey decision just to get a few of our young guys a little bit closer, but for us to have the opportunity to stay here because the Manchester area has been so great for the Kings. We understand it is a great hockey market. There's very passionate fans here, so it's going to be fun for us to be able to come back and play here. And you know, this is one of those areas where with our staff we're going to come in. It's always going to be home, so you know, we'll be able to have some of our players here. So, and you know, we feel like leaving it here under the hands of Matt Welch, it's going to be great. He's a local guy. Once we start peeling the onions and we were kind of working to who was doing what here in Manchester, we realized Darren wasn't doing much, so we said we might as well give it to Matt, make sure this thing gets done the right way. So we really feel like this organization is going to be in great hands, and we're going to be working together, so we're very, very excited, and congratulations everyone. And to be able, and Tim, thank you so much for letting us stay with you and continue this great ride that we have, and a great relationship with everybody in Manchester. So thank you, and see you a little bit later. Or am I introducing someone?
Go ahead, you're good.
I'm good.
Spent a lot of time with him lately. I'd like to welcome an old friend. I was in the ECHL for many, many years before I came here, and I've known Brian a long, long time. He actually turned me down for a job at one point, but he and I get along very, very well now, and I'd like to welcome Brian McKenna, the commissioner of the ECHL. Welcome to Manchester.
Thank you very much, Darren. Mayor Gatsas, Verizon Wireless Arena, Tim, and certainly the Los Angeles Kings organization represented here today by Luke Robitaille, Darren Abbott, all your Monarch staff here as well. I am very excited to officially welcome Manchester to the ECHL for play in the 15-16 season. We appreciate the hard work that's gone into this over the past several weeks and months, especially I think starting in earnest back in December after the NHL teams I think finally made the decision they were going to pull the trigger and make it all happen for this year. I know it's been many years in the making, and I know that Luke has played a lead role in making sure that this Western Division for the American Hockey League happened. We're very aware at the ECHL level of the proud tradition of hockey here in Manchester and what has developed with the Monarchs over the past 14 years. So we're now in the future certainly very pleased to be part of it. Why did this move make sense for the ECHL at this time? First, as you've heard, it's certainly been driven by the NHL and the American League to form that Western Division. But now that we have teams in this area, we've never made a foray into New England before, but now that we have the opportunity to have several teams in the area, all of a sudden it made sense. Certainly Manchester will be a flagship, but I came from Glens Falls this morning where we had a news conference there as well to welcome them to the league. We also have teams in close proximity in places like Elmira, New York, Reading, Pennsylvania as well. So for us now to be in New England, which is traditional hockey country, is certainly welcome for the ECHL. It's also a rationalization of minor league hockey and the development system. I think it's taken a while to get to where we are, but I think we're very quickly in the future here going to be in a situation where we have 30 teams at the NHL level. There's currently 30 in the American League, and we have 28, and within the next 12 to 18 months hope to be at 30 as well. So now there's an opportunity for affiliations at all levels and to have the three leagues that will certainly work closer together in the future. A little bit about the ECHL. We're in our 27th year of operation. Started with 5 teams and have expanded, as I mentioned a minute ago, bringing in 7 teams from the former Central League this past summer, which kind of filled in the center part of the country for us, bringing us to a 28-team league, which we certainly hope in the near future will be 30. From a player's point of view, over 550 players that got their start in the ECHL have gone on to play in the National Hockey League. Some of the folks that played on the Kings Stanley Cup winning team, Jonathan Quick, Jordan Nolan, Dwight King, all those guys came through Reading, through Manchester, and eventually on to the National Hockey League. So we're part of that feeder system as well. From a coaching perspective, approximately 25% of the coaches on NHL staffs right now have a tie back to the ECHL. Some of the head coaches include Peter Laviolette, Bruce Boudreau, Jack Capuano, Peter Horchak. Again, all guys that got their start in our league as well. 23 of our 28 teams are currently affiliated with National League and American Hockey League teams. And about 40% of the players in our league this year are on either NHL or American League contracts that are assigned to our league. So we feel that in the future we're going to continue to grow those numbers and become a larger part of that development system. Our goal is to provide a good hockey environment in some terrific facilities like this, give the kids an opportunity to develop their skills and hopefully move on to the next level. From a fan's point of view, again, our goal there is to provide top quality product on the ice, surround that with great entertainment value, and be able to continue to put a product on the ice that would be affordable for families in all the cities that we operate across the league. So again, very happy to be here in Manchester today. Look forward to being back in the fall when the puck drops for an ECHL season. And we're, again, welcome to the ECHL. Thank you.
Thank you, Brian. Now I'd like to welcome up the General Manager of the Verizon Wireless Arena, Tim Bechert.
Thanks, Darren.
Thank you.
First of all, I want to thank Mayor Gatsas for being here, Commissioner McKenna, Luke Robitaille, Darren, and Maddie, of course, and Max. For SMG, the process which brings us here today initially started about 12 months ago, a little bit over a year ago. Our primary objective when we were understanding the changing landscape in professional hockey was to make sure that Manchester still had a place in professional hockey. So with that objective in mind, we spent the next 12 months with the help of Luke, with the help of Darren, and a lot of other folks, quite frankly, in hockey, to understand exactly what that landscape was going to look like and how we could best protect and involve New Hampshire in the process moving forward. We spent the last 12 months looking at all the different scenarios, looking at all the different options, looking at all the economic impacts that were going to be laid out. And it kind of brought us to where we are today with the partner that we have today. And the irony is the fact that during our search and during all the number crunching and all the different scenarios that played out, the thing that we were looking for most was a partner like the one that we've had for the last 14 years that valued the marketplace, understood the marketplace, was a part of the community, and really looked forward to the growth of their sport involving our community and embracing our community. And like I said, at the end of the day, our search ended up bringing us right across the hall, or across the street as it is now, and that's with AEG. Their commitment to the community, I think, is further exemplified by the fact that we are looking at an additional 6 years with professional hockey. And I want something to be understood here. In our analysis that we took over the course of time, we weren't simply focusing on players. When we say the word team, we had a much bigger view of what that team was. Again, we simply weren't looking at the guys that were on the ice with an AHL patch on their uniform or an ECHL patch on their uniform. We wanted to make sure we were partnering up with someone that went beyond the ice. And again, over the last 14 years, I think it's been noted numerous times. I know it's not lost on this community, but we've had the wonderful opportunity to work with some of the best professionals in hockey, in minor league hockey, and that's been the AEG staff, their front office staff, the game ops guys, the statisticians, the scoreboard operators, the sales team, the marketing team, the promotion teams. I think it's been clearly demonstrated that they're one of the best and have been one of the best over the course of the last 14 years. So it's very, very rewarding for us. And it's my understanding that with the exception of Darren, that team is staying in place. So again, bigger team picture, we couldn't be happier to be partnering up with AEG again. So thank you for everything. Thank you for all that you've done. We look forward to the future in the ECHL with Brian and his staff, and again, maintaining that relationship with LA that's proven to be so successful here in Manchester and the state of New Hampshire. Thank you. Oh, and with that, I'd like to bring up the Honorable Mayor Gatsas.
Good afternoon, everybody. Luke, nice to have you back in New Hampshire.
Good to see you.
And certainly the relationship that we've had with the LA Kings is going to continue, which is something that everybody in the city of Manchester should be excited about. And certainly if the LA Kings win another cup, I know that Luke will be right here with it to make sure he can show it off in the city of Manchester.
It's a deal, man.
So I can tell you that the excitement of making sure that we keep the Monarchs in place and having somebody like Matt Welch, who's a native Manchester person, is important. I think that Tim Bechert has all my respect and all my faith that I know that he's going to keep this building full and making sure that we protect the city of Manchester and making sure hockey is alive and well in the Queen City, because as we will all remember or all know, that Manchester is a big hockey city. So again, it looks like a great marriage that will continue for another 6 years, which is a good thing, because you never know when you get involved with somebody else what it could be like. So staying involved with the LA Kings is a good thing, and I know that, Tim, I have a lot of respect for you, that we will be fine here in the city of Manchester. So again, Luke, looked forward to seeing you again. Yeah. Commissioner, come back and visit. Darren, stay in California. With that, I'd like to bring up Matt Welch.
First off, I want to thank everybody, obviously, at this table. You know, Tim and SMG for the hard work that they put in to make sure hockey stayed here in Manchester. Obviously, Luke and AEG. AEG is the only company that I've worked for in my profession. I don't think I'd ever want to work for another company. It's a great company. They care about Manchester. They care about the people here. And through this whole process, that was very apparent. I want to thank Darren, obviously, for giving me this opportunity. Between Darren Abbott and Jeff Eisenberg, you know, my 14 years here, I think I've been groomed by two of the best, and I hope to, you know, bring forward what they taught me. I'll be brief and kind of taking off my Monarchs hat here and just my Manchester, putting my Manchester hat on and being a resident here all my life and born and raised. This is a really good thing for the city of Manchester and the state of New Hampshire. You know, 14 years I've been working with Tim and his staff. He has, you know, his full-time staff from the marketing people to, you know, his front office people to the ushers to the security guards. This is a family here. To Aramark and Jack Lyon's staff, this is a family. You know, our season ticket holders, they come for the hockey, but they come here also to be with the people that they spend their winters with. So this family is going to continue, and we're excited about it, and we're going to remain very, very active in the community. And we're just happy that, you know, we're going to still call Manchester home. And I want to mention also kind of something Tim touched upon. You know, our front office staff, I think, is one of the best staffs in the American League. And we're going to shoot to be one of the best staffs in the East Coast, in the ECHL as well. So I'm looking forward to working with them. I'm confident, and we want to thank everybody.
I'll open up to questions. Go ahead.
At this time, we're opening up to questions. Please just raise your hand and we'll call on you. Go ahead, Danny.
Two questions for Luke. At what point in this process did it become clear that you guys wanted to keep it the Manchester Monarchs and the Ontario reign and keep those two names as they were?
Oh, the names?
Yeah.
It was, I think right away. Like the day that we thought this could happen, I mean, we knew it was important. We knew it was important to keep the Monarchs here. You know, probably more than having the reign in Ontario and for the other team. We know how established it is here. Now it's very important. So it's not like we had like a deep discussion. It was we kind of just assumed.
You're streaming. Can you go up and
Can you start over, Luke? Yeah.
Do I have to start over? Okay, the question was about the names, if it was important to keep the Monarchs here, and my answer is from the day we started talking, discussing about really like changing the teams, we always felt that it was important that the Monarchs would keep their names.
And then the second question is that just with your relationship with the ECHL right now, you only have one prospect there.
Mm-hmm.
And in years past, it's kind of been the same thing where you don't really have maybe a huge volume of prospects. How important for the Kings organization was it to keep the ECHL?
It's important to keep the team, like for us, because like we know Jonathan Quick played there, and you know, we look back, and sometimes one player can make all the difference in your franchise. I mean, we had other guys like Dwight King that played in, but you know, we know from year to year, different times we're going to have players. Like last year, we in Ontario, we had a relationship also with Winnipeg and San Jose. So there was some good players at teams sometimes that, you know, they weren't able to move and they were playing together. So sometimes that it does happen. So you're able to elevate even the talent to another level. But for us, it's important. You know, we liked owning the team, and it's been a good relationship before. And we know here, first of all, we love the market here, and you know, Michael Connell's right down the road, and he attends a lot of games, so we know he's going to still be coming, and a lot of our guys are still going to be around. So it was important to stay involved. All right.
Anybody else?
You know, what prospects kind of came up in that last question there, but and it came up yesterday at the press conference in San Jose, just about, you know, you're a phone call away from the NHL and the AHL, and that's not as much the case with the ECHL. Just kind of why should the Manchester community embrace
We certainly understand there will be an educational process in terms of what the ECHL is all about. It is true that you're not going to have a lot of the high-end picks that come to the American League, perhaps spend a short period of time and move on. But the quality of play is very good. I think it's important to understand that approximately half the players in the ECHL every year play games in the American League. There's a lot of prospects, particularly defensemen and goaltenders, that need the playing time in the ECHL to be able to move up. So the quality of play is good. We certainly hope the fans here will give it a chance. And I think there's the play on the ice, and then there's everything that surrounds it as well. It's the promotions, the atmosphere in the building, the way you're greeted, the whole entertainment environment that all plays into it as well. So I think they'll be impressed with what the team continues to do here, the team off the ice as well as the team on the ice. The other experience we've had in markets that have gone from the American League to the ECHL has been good. I mean, we've maintained the fans base in places like Salt Lake City as well, and I think it presented well and the fans give it a chance. There's no reason why that can't happen here as well.
For either Matt or Darren, what will fans see next year in terms of ticket prices be lower? What types of changes will you make for either season ticket prices or single game tickets?
Well, Kuz, right now, obviously, we're finalizing some of our pricing strategy. We have taken a look at our season ticket pricing. Obviously, our season ticket holders are the core of our business. You will see a somewhat substantial price decrease in season tickets. We're gonna work hard. You're also gonna see probably, a lot of packaging and discounting and types of those type of things. I think that goes kind of hand in hand with not only the American League but the ECHL as well. So probably gonna rely on more promotions. Different types of things, to make sure that we keep everybody happy.
And what about the single game tickets?
Single game tickets, we're right now we're looking at it, but we'll continue to promote. Our single game tickets right now start at $9. So I don't know if anybody's been here on New Year's Eve, but Darren probably heard me say this the last 5 years he's been here every night. I says, for $9 you come here on New Year's Eve, you see top quality hockey, mom and dad are happy, and then you get a fireworks show afterwards. You can't go to the movies for that. So
is that a yes or no or a maybe?
That's really to be determined. But believe me, if you want to come to a Monarchs game for a very affordable price with your family, you will find those tickets.
And sort of a follow-up question. How much discussion, if any, was there of keeping the Monarchs name or perhaps going with a new name so you could sort of generate more excitement with the new jersey, new colors, things like that?
Right. To be frank with you, and there was really no discussion of that. Guys, the Manchester Monarchs is so well branded in this state. You think about, I want you guys to place, think about the 8-year-old fan that we have that, is playing out in Hooksett or whatever and is wearing his Monarchs jersey. Those guys, those kids and those families are going to come to these games and those kids want to see the Monarchs, and it's important that they're going to continue to do that.
Was the move by the AHL team to California, was that contingent at all on making sure that there was a team that stayed in Manchester?
No, I don't want to speak for Luke, but I think, that was, a pure hockey decision that was going to be made. And so no, the answer is no, but, the good news is that AEG and Tim and SMG saw the value here, and, we wanted to stay here.
Yes. Tim, talk about the 12-month process. At any point, was there an option for you folks to allow the Kings to walk away from their final 6 years run to go out and search for potentially, there were some other AHL teams that are available in the 15-16 season potentially. Was that an option at any point?
Yeah, yes, sir, absolutely. there were a lot of options on the table, and we explored them all, and we had to go through the economics of each one. But as these guys know far better than I, there were a lot of moving parts and a lot of moving pieces, and to try and get them all to make sense for us as how it directly impacted Manchester, New Hampshire, it was a task. It was a hard task. So we took a real hard look at all those options, and they were on the table. But as Matty alluded to, at the end of the day, the best partner we had was the one that we've had for the last 14 years. And I don't want to reiterate myself, but it goes, from our perspective, it goes far beyond just the play on the ice. And I know the pure hockey fans may not agree, but we've been doing this a long time. We've been doing it in this building for 14 years. SMG operates more minor league hockey buildings than any other company in the country. We've got a pretty good handle on what's going to work and what's not going to work, both economically and promotionally. So we're very happy with where we are today.
Just kind of follow up on that. With the new contract extension, does either the King side or the Verizon side have any sort of escape clause about pursuing different things?
There isn't a, quote, escape clause, but I think any good business and any good partners will always have open communication and work around any possible situations. I mean, honestly, that's been the beauty of what we've experienced over the last 14 years. Our success is not because we're simply planted in Manchester. Our success is a whole culmination of our ability to work together as two different entities, our ability to work with the city, our municipal partners, our sponsors. So there's no silver bullet to let anybody out of anything. But I think, as I said, with any good business practice, we want everybody to succeed, because that's going to make us all better.
This is for Commissioner McKenna. I apologize, I digress, and I have a cold. I'm Bill Blue from the Worcester Telegram and Gazette, so you probably know where this is going. Are you looking to expand your footprint in New England, and if so, is Worcester a possible market, and has anyone expressed an interest in putting an ECHL team in Worcester?
Well, first of all, we're not driving that bus. I mean, I think there will be probably determination in the future in terms of a couple of other NHL teams that may want to follow suit down the road. To the degree that a place like Worcester or any other market in New England becomes available, we would certainly take a look at it. A key to that, though, is going to be making sure we get the right ownership groups, the right business plan, the right lead time in order to be able to make it happen. We don't have anything on the table now. We've had a couple of, I would say, calls of interest in terms of Manchester, several other markets as well, but we don't have anything before us right now. So nothing would happen for 15-16, and perhaps at some point in the future something could come our direction. I think it's important to note here as well that what's happening is transformational with the whole minor league hockey development system, and as a result, you mentioned Worcester, but Oklahoma City is in the same boat. Two perfectly good markets, but may not have a dance partner at least for next year. So at the end of this, there's going to be 60 affiliated teams, I think, a year or two down the road, and I do believe over the next 12 months there's going to be a little bit of a sense of urgency, I think, on the part of some markets to make sure that they're still part of the dance.
Mike said say hello.
Okay. Thanks.
I guess a question for Brian. Did you say you got calls on Manchester, like other ownership groups interested in bringing a team here?
No. We had some calls of interest as it related to Worcester within the past 30 days. Nothing with regard to Manchester.
Sorry, from Luke again. This is something that Dean Lombardi has obviously wanted, this move for an AHL West movement. Back to his days when he was with the Sharks, when he had the relationship with Worcester. Can you talk about his involvement in the process, and did he play any part in this move?
Well, I think as an organization, we all have a part in this move. I mean, like I said earlier, it is a hockey decision. I mean, for we felt like from the NHL level, we were at a disadvantage. It was more like, you know, you got to take a couple flights to come and see your young guys, where you're calling up a kid where, you know, he's got to fly to Chicago and then fly to LA, and sometimes he won't play the game. The next day he's got to take that big flight and come back and play a couple games in the next 2 days. So it was very difficult. And once it was a NHL based West Coast team that got together and said, you know what, if we really want to develop our guys, we need to get them a little bit closer. We need to shorten up the traveling, and that was real, you know, that was the main thing.
How long would you say this whole process is? How long ago did this process start?
Pierre Lacroix told me he started talking about this in 1996 in Colorado, you know. And I know Brian Burke, when he got to Anaheim, started discussing it. And it's some things that from an NHL's point of view, you know, the teams wanted their team a little bit closer. And the matter of fact is, for the, you know, we love the game of hockey. The game of hockey is a thing that I grew up playing, and for us, we feel like the more teams out there and the more markets, like Brian's talking about, we're going to have 60, you know, farm teams in the next couple of years. It's incredible. Hopefully we can help grow that. And same thing, like I'm a big believer in the USHL. So we'd love the USHL to grow a little bit, because then the more hockey players, the more people are watching the games. And those are things that are important. But to go back, my answer, yeah, it was a hockey decision, and Dean was involved, something he wanted.
Hey, Luke,
Yeah.
did the Kings look at potentially moving Ontario to other places other than Manchester?
No. I mean, we talked with Tim right away. We felt that would be the best fit. I mean, we had to buy our partner in Ontario, because it was a local guy, Mr. Barry Kemp. So that took us so long to get that done, that by the time it was done, we felt that this was the right place if we can get it done. Because, you know, the thing that, the experience on the ice, you're going to get some guys, sometimes you're even going to get players with a little bit more experience sometimes that you were seeing with the Monarchs. And for me, what I've seen when I've been in games in the past here is the experience it's always a great experience here. It's a lot of fun to come, and it's fun for the families. So that experience is going to be there, and it's going to be a lot of fun for everyone.
When were you able to lock up the lease with the arena? When did those negotiations get finalized?
Is that yesterday? No, I mean, it wasn't that long ago. I mean, we've been talking for a long time, but a few weeks, and then we had our folks at AEG talking with Tim and everybody at SMG, and we figured it out. And it was important that we extended the lease, and we thought, you know, going an extra 5 years was the right thing to do for now.
And how long ago did that get finalized? A couple weeks ago, or roughly?
Yeah, it was a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, after Christmas, like sometime 3 weeks ago. 3 weeks ago, here, Darren. 3 weeks ago, I know we were discussing throughout Christmas. It was great. You know, my wife really enjoyed me being on the phone on December 26th and 27th, and no, we got it done after Christmas sometime.
And if Tim is somehow to get an AHL team in 3 years or 4 years down the road, would the Kings be amenable to try to work something out to allow an AHL team to return here?
Right, it's something like actually we were discussing last night. I mean, there's, you know, it's like Tim said, there's no escape clause or anything like that, but something. We're great partners. So we're always going to be great partners and do what's best and what everyone, you know, wants to do together. But that being said, I think people are going to really enjoy what's going to happen, what's going to be on the ice here. I mean, you know, you look at the team that the guys put together in Ontario, and that team was drawing 8,000 a night, 6,500, 7,000, and it was a great experience. So I think it's going to be a lot of the same here. But we're partners, and like Tim says, we're going to figure out whatever needs to be figured out. If an NHL team wants to come, we might need a few more seats, but we'll be a good partner there too.
Questions for Darren. You know, being in the front office of both the ECHL and the AHL Monarchs, just kind of what are some, in terms of challenges, what are some similarities and differences that both teams face?
From a front office perspective, or from a business perspective, I think the biggest thing that fans are going to notice here is our players will probably be more entrenched. They'll be here. They may play here longer on average, more years. They might have the ability to become more entrenched in the community. I mean, I think in the early years of Manchester Monarchs hockey, I think that was the case a little bit more. Recently it's been much more of a development model. Obviously, it's paid off of the 2 banners that we have hanging up there, and so there was definitely a shift, and it definitely worked out for the Kings. But I think our fans appreciated the days when I saw Rich Seeley here before, and you could count on a core of players playing here for year after year. And I think the ECHL, you have a little bit more of that. You have some household names. I worked in the ECHL in Charleston, South Carolina, and there was about five or six core players, right, Brian, that played there for 5, 6, 7 years, and they still make their home there today. We have a strong alumni system there. We have a lot of fun with it. So I think that's a little bit different. It's a little bit the players tend to be here longer. I think the other thing that specifically from a New Hampshire and a Manchester perspective, whoever is running the team from a hockey operations point of view, we're right in the middle of New England. We're going to have a great opportunity to recruit and recruit out of not just UNH, but UVM, BU, BC, all the schools in New England. So I think there's an opportunity to have local kids. I mean, not just the prospects, and a lot of times the prospects, they come and go, and they get sent different places. And one thing that I've found as a challenge in an AHL as an operator, and from a fan's perspective, is that when you make a trade in the American Hockey League, you take last year, we'll trade a quality player, and we might get a draft pick in return. So if we trade a player like Lyndon Vey, who's one of our best players on the ice, and we get a draft pick back, and I'm not sure if I'm speaking that one correctly, it doesn't really help the fan. Lyndon Vey's gone at the trade deadline, and there's no player coming behind it. In the ECHL, those players are going to get traded, and you're going to see what we traded for the very next game on the ice. So I think it's something that the fans are going to be able to. The fans are going to be really there to get out and lay their hands on the players a little bit more. I think Tim alluded to it. We had a great relationship, and the Kings were really good to us as far as our players in the community. But the ECHL goes that much farther. The players, the player works for the team and works hard, and they know that in order to make it to the next level, make it to the AHL and the National Hockey League, they have to be a good all-around professional. And Matt's a professional kid, and I know he's going to have his players out in the community. They're going to be out in the stands with the fans, and I think the fans are going to get to know them. And I think there's going to be some local kids here too. I don't want to put words in the coach's mouth, but I think there'll be local kids here too. I don't know why there wouldn't be. Hope that answers it. Yep.
Thank you for coming, everybody. That concludes the press conference.
One question for the commissioner. Yeah. Has there been any decision made on what conference or division the Monarchs will play in? And as of right now, I'm sure there's probably still some shuffling of franchises, but it seems to me that there's going to be a lot more travel for the Monarchs next year because there aren't the ECHL teams that are in the East are more far-flung than the AHL teams are. So how do you see that might affect travel, and are there any, where do you see the Monarchs landing?
We will have an announcement next week on our division and conference alignment, so that'll be done very quickly, and we're going to get to work on the 15-16 schedule. I think suffice to say they will be playing their local rivals the most. So those teams that are within a 4, 5, 6 hour bus drive, those are the ones you're going to see the most, probably a 6-6, 5-5, 4-4, that sort of thing. We do have some very limited travel east and west, but that gives you an opportunity, I think, to see some of the teams from the other conferences and from the from both the West and the South, but you'll still be playing your closest rivals the most.